A change of command ceremony held last week marked a new chapter for the Corpus Christi Army Depot. 3 News reporter Stephen Cavazos shows us the special meaning behind this tradition in tonight's Military Matters.
It will continue to change, and we need to be prepared to change with it and stay ahead of it.
Colonel Gail Atkins was welcomed to the Corpus Christi Army Depot as the new commander of the military facility. Atkins, the first female to take command, excited and ready for her new role.
It's pretty surreal. I mean, to think about what we are able to accomplish. My goal really is to just make sure that we stay on track and that we're postured to be ready for the fight tomorrow.
Colonel Alan Lancetta, who served as commander of CCAD for 2 years, ended his 27-year military career surrounded by loved ones. Atkins prepared to continue his legacy.
Readiness changes every single day. We will change with it. There are some great processes that have been put in place here, and all those processes, we're looking to optimize them.
Atkins will assume command of a team with close to 3,000 people, who she says make all the difference when it comes to keeping our country safe.
We have a dedicated workforce here that does more than just engage the city. I mean, what they produce every single day is felt worldwide.
Atkins plans to help CCAD reach its best potential during her time in the Coastal Bend. But it's the team behind the flight, she says, are changing the fight every day.
It's hard to see that when you're in South Texas and they're flying aircraft in Afghanistan, but it's a lot closer than you think. And I want them to remember that, and I want them to realize their impact that they make.
Stephen Cavazos, 3 News.